but add a little extra different stuff to it. The Packers have been completely different, 180 degrees each week. Aaron Jones will run for 4 touchdowns one week, and the next week Aaron Rodgers will throw for 6 touchdowns. They literally are picking play styles and game plans and play calls just going through page by page. I don't think they're going through and just selecting randomly. I'm literally thinking, well, Floyd's just ripping stuff out, throwing in the trash can if it ain't working, check marking it, keeping it, flipping through. And by the time he's going to have this like little golden playbook, holy Bible that he's going to have for the playoffs.
Yeah. Now, going along with that, do you think Patton is sort of doing the same thing on defense?
You know, I've thought of that, but the thing is, it seems like the defense we've been seeing this whole season. Why are they in zone coverage? Why are they in zone coverage? Why are they in zone coverage? Like Jay and I literally were on that all season long. Well, if you notice today, Jay brought this up a little bit before you came on. They were playing press man coverage and that man zone hybrid a lot more today.
Yeah.
Kenny Clark.
Bingo. Speaking of Kenny Clark, 8 tackles, 2 sacks in this game, 3 tackles for loss. Parker, doesn't that sound like a linebacker's stat line?
It does, yeah.
That's a defensive tackle.
Yeah.
And he has 4.5 sacks in the last 3 games. So he's averaging a sack and a half in those 3 games. He's been 100% healthy. I am so ready for like prime kill mode Kenny Clark. The Smith brothers, you know what? They didn't record a sack today, but they got some pressure on Mitch. They were pushing offensive linemen straight back in his face. It was affecting his throws, and they were double and triple teaming areas.
Sacks, but Rashawn Gary got a sack. Kenny Clark got a couple of sacks. It was because they still were doing their job, and this time their job this week, they got Mitch to have to move forward, and other guys cleaned up the mess for him. They had their hands on him, but this is probably the first game I think all season long where neither one of them has gotten a sack, or maybe it's one of very few.
Well, I mean, to go along with Dave's point, I mean, you just said that they didn't get the Smith brothers didn't get sacks today, but they got enough. They got to the quarterback enough where they rattled Trubisky.
They had Charles Leno and Lucas in Mitch's lap.
That's sometimes all you need, really. Your secondary is only as good as your pass rush allows, and you don't have to get sacks on every single play. Yeah, it's awesome when you do it, but you only need to really pressure the quarterback enough to where he's rattled, to where he'll throw a duck in the air, or you'll bat a ball up in the air and it'll cause a turnover. Right, that's all you really need.
Unsung hero for turning the tide late in the game.
Yeah.
Dean Lowry, tell you what, he's earned his extension.
Yeah. I was actually just going to mention him because I know we had to mention him all show yet. But yeah, he was actually one of my favorite players, especially seeing him get that pick today. That was pretty awesome.
Parker, when's the last time you can go through a whole Packers roster and say that we had 3 solid starters in Alexander, King, and Tremont, and also have depth like Chandon Sullivan, Kadar Hallman, Tony Brown, Josh Jackson? We haven't had a secondary room like this in years.
Long time.
I mean, I'm not trying to be mean here, but I think the last time they've had a secondary room like this, you were 14, right?
Yeah.
About 10 years ago?
10, yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay. And here, how about this? I brought this up earlier. There's a player on our front seven, Zadarius Smith. And with the way they've used him, he's like the front seven joker. And with his leadership qualities and the way he seems to be leading this defense and kind of playing all over, I believe, and this is big shoes to throw out there, but Dave agreed with me, but I believe Zadarius Smith is the 2019 version on this defense. He's the front seven version of Charles Woodson.
I would agree. I think he's a definite game changer on defense. That's for sure.
Well, he's played all 3 positions on the defensive line in the last 2-3 weeks, and he's even played and lined up as a standing middle linebacker. I mean, come on already. He has played every position on the front seven, and he just wreaks havoc everywhere he goes.
Versatility,
Charles
man.
Woodson did that. You didn't know where Charles lined up at linebacker sometimes in some schemes. Seriously, like
we saw him line up at edge rusher once. I remember that, and they had him switch out, and they had Peppers drop into coverage.
Versatility. That's Gutekunst's MO, and you saw it when he drafted, and you're seeing it now with the free agent pickups.
Why are you pointing to me? I know that I agreed with the versatility, Jay.
No, I was pointing because I was telling you go. I know.
Oh, my bad. Zadarius Smith, this year, he's the most double-teamed edge rusher in the league. And he also has the highest pressure rate on the QB while being the highest double-teamed edge rusher. If that doesn't say game changer, I don't know what else does. I mean, 10.5 sacks. He brings the attitude. He's emotional. Him and Preston Smith, both of them.
They both have, 20.5 sacks between them?
Preston has 21, and Zadarius has 10.5. So they have 21.5 sacks combined. The first Packers duo double-digit sack artist since Reggie White and Bryce Paup in 1993.
That first guy, that's pretty legendary company to be a part of.
1993, I was 6, Parker.
I wasn't even a twinkle in my mother's eye yet.
I was 10 years old, and I remember that season.
Oh, yeah, that was the season after I fell in love with football. I fell in love with football in '92. That was watching Packers with Favre, and I remember them starting out the season with Don Majkowski.
The Magic Man.
Hey, you know what, though? What? He had a Pro Bowl the year before. I'm just saying.
Yes, yeah,
Ooh.
Okay, yeah.
Don?
And now that you've mentioned Don Majkowski, that means we're going to final break and coming back to close it out. We know we're getting long in the tooth when you're talking about Don Majkowski and Pro Bowl.
What's wrong with Don Majkowski?
And if you haven't had enough of our banter tonight, you want to visit NFL Addictions on Facebook.com for all of your NFL banter and debate. It's not a trash talk site, so keep it clean and keep it cordial. That's NFL Addictions on Facebook.com. And if you still have an itch to scratch when you're done with that, you want to visit Raz Addictions on Facebook.com to play their version of the raffle for all kinds of chances at cool prizes. You can even win some cash. Buy a $10 raffle ticket with a chance at $100. That's a chance to win 10 times your money. It don't get any better than that. That's Raz Addictions on Facebook.com for all kinds of cool prizes. Tell them what you've won, Dave.
I've won everything from NFL tailgating barbecue sets. I've got old school helmets. I've got new style helmets. I've got memorabilia rings. I've got signed banners. I've got signed footballs. I've got everything that Raz Addiction offers, folks. They also have more that I haven't won, which is surprising, but they're cheap, affordable, and they're certified stuffs that you can win. So go ahead and check it out.
That's Raz Addictions on Facebook.com. Go there, play, and win. And now it's time for shout-outs.
We have Miss @Julie_Noted _PFG NFL writer and co-founder with @Backs Football Guru of @PFG Vibe and PFG Vibecast. Julie is also a cult writer for @Our Turf Football, a women's group of sports writers with having great pieces and is a great sports follow. Also, we have PackToTheFuture.com, where it features us on their podcast sections, where you can get all the things you didn't even know, where you can check out Packers news and check out tickets to the games and even Packer event updates.
Parker Momos is a Packers writer and contributor for Die Hard Packer Fan, a great young writer with a different view of the game and brings a ton of energy and passion to his work. Then you've got @MontyJP231, the founder and host of the Full Monty Football Show every Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, featured by Nuts and Bolts Sports on blogtalkradio.com. He works hard on Sundays so you don't have to. And follow the rest of the crew too at Greg Cowboys, at Lion Cuban, and at the other George Lopez. Again, that's at MontyJP231 on the Twitter.
We're going to round this out with the NFC North Round Table Fellas. Starting off with at Mike Zimmer's Ears. JB is co-host of the Heart and Skull podcast. Then we have at the Fifth Top. Julius Porter is a Detroit native Lions writer for at Detroit Sports Nation, and Uncle Mike 21. Austin Fugelstad is the co-host of at Hollis Hall Brawl, covering all the things you need to know about the Bears, Vikings, Lions, and Packers from these fellas. Also, special shout out to Julius Porter. He's going over to Afghanistan, folks. He's going over to be a contractor to help set up for the soldiers. Go ahead and keep him in your prayers. We're going to miss you, buddy. We'll be holding a spot for you when you get back. We'll miss you and love you.
Much love, Julius. Stay safe, buddy. And as always, you can follow us on the Twitter at First and Goal Pod, myself at UPJ33, Dave is at Steak and Cheese, the fantasy wonder himself, Dylan at DylanBusby1. Email us at firstandgoalpodcast@yahoo.com with all your football and Packer questions. Give us your comments, and you just might end up making the show live. Again, that's firstandgoalpodcast@yahoo.com.
And I got nothing to show, just climbing this rope right here. And if there's a man upstairs, he kept bringing me rain. But I've been sending up prayers and something's changed. I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now. All my dreams are coming true, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now.
All right, and we are back. It's time to close out the show, guys. It is it's after 1 o'clock in the morning for us, actually, and we have to work tomorrow. So final thoughts, gentlemen.
Overall, good win, ugly win, but that's been the Packers' MO the last few weeks. Rodgers even said himself, I wouldn't mind winning ugly all the way to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, if we have to do it that way, we'll do it that way. It's unconventional, but it's working. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I'm going to end it with this. One, we ended the Bears season just like they ended us last season. Isn't that funny how the tables have turned 180 degrees? So Bears, enjoy your offseason. Two, we won the 200th meeting in the rivalry. And since 1992, I believe we're 42-17 against the Bears.
Yeah.
Oof. We just went up another third game against the Bears. We swept the Bears. Sorry, did you hear a broom sweeping? But adding on to it, I was watching a little bit of prime time highlights, and the Packers came up while you were talking, Parker, and I heard him say it perfectly. He said, they asked him, like, how do you feel about the Packers? And he goes, well, they keep winning. He goes, they said, it's really nice. They keep winning. I don't know how, but they're winning.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
says it perfectly right there because he's noticing it. Who cares who they face? They're winning.
Yep. Keep doing it.
I will
5 or 6 more victories, and then you win the whole kit and caboodle. So.
One more. Packers playoffs, baby.
First time since
3 years
2016.
back on there. Yep.
Yes, and I will say this. Congratulations to Mr. Matt LaFleur for becoming the first head coach to not only win 10-plus games in his first season, but he's also the first Packers rookie head coach in 101 years of his existence to take his team to the playoffs in his rookie season. That's huge.
Yeah,
And
that was the huge talking point in the offseason when he hired him.
Cram that up here, Cram-hole McCarthy.
And I honestly will say this week, this win was not ugly, guys. I want to reiterate it. It wasn't ugly. Yeah. It's not what you're used to seeing. This is what this offense is supposed to look like. It just is in second gear now instead of fourth gear. But this is what it's going to look like. If it was in fourth gear, the only difference between second gear and fourth gear, NVS catches that pass. Adams doesn't drop those 2 passes. and they end up scoring probably 21 plus more points in this game. That's the only difference here. The play calling, the way they executed, the